Yeah, you do. All right, guys, we should be live here. Let's see. I believe we are live. Okay, yes, we are live.
Yeah, you do.
All right. Okay, let me turn the volume off here. All right, guys, we should be live here. Let's see. Damn, why does it freaking do that? We are live. Okay, yes, we are live.
Yeah, you do.
All right. Oh, it's on this one. Okay, there we go. All right. How's everybody doing tonight?
Doing good. How you doing? Fantastic.
Very good. All right, cool. So this is Arm Wrestling Showcase number 5, the Young Bucks series, the first that we've done of this kind. And hopefully not just us, but other channels can make it more of a trend. That's right. Look at these guys' guns.
Bring them out.
Oh, dear Lord. Okay, and just to give you a little understanding out there, anybody that's watching. So David, who just gave us that massive flex over here, 17 years old, and he's already, you are the super heavyweight champ in Tennessee right now?
Right-handed, yes, sir. And I'm number 2 ranked overall in Tennessee right-handed. The only person ranked above me is Robbie Russell.
Oh gosh.
And Tim Bresnan recently moved to Tennessee, and he's not ranked, but he's above me. Tim Bresnan.
Oh wow, dear Lord. Okay, yeah, that's impressive. I can't tell you how happy I am that you are like several weight classes above me, and you're also several states away. Yeah, that's very impressive. And as always, we got our co-host here, Mr. Josh Edwards, helping me hold things down. Can we hear your pretty voice, Josh?
Yeah, I'm the robot.
You're the robot. Josh is our man from the country, and he's always got some interesting things going on there. I believe you said you drove all the way to the city from camping so you could have better service to be with us today.
Yeah, I drove like 20 miles right now just so I could do this.
Dude, you're the man, Josh. Well, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go around one by one and talk to some of these guys, find out who they are, their past. Some of these guys are ranked, some of them are brand new, but all of these guys are very talented, you know, and they've been brought in for a reason. And then we're also going to just have some discussion about things that are going on right now. We're going to talk about how we can build this sport. We'll talk a little bit about East versus West that's coming up. And first, I just want to go through one by one. We've got Levi Ratkowski. Is it Ratkowski? All right. Good to see you, Levi. What's your home state?
I live in North Carolina.
Right on, brother. Yeah, I believe it was Damian Schlosser that recommended you. And then again, we've got David Terrell over here. And your brother is Paul Terrell, correct?
Right there.
Yeah, you look like you just paddled in from surfing some massive waves or something like that.
Got that surfer bro hair going.
That's right. That's right. What was he hitting up the wave pool
Hiding mine
somewhere?
under my hat.
Oh, okay. All right.
It's under there.
Right.
I didn't.
And so we also have Todd and Elijah Callazo with us. And so Todd is Elijah's dad and has been bringing Elijah, who is 14 years old, to our Alpha Empire practices consistently. And Elijah has not competed yet. He's got an amazing training setup at home, and Elijah is an absolute beast, very explosive, and very, very strong. So expecting big things from Elijah. We've also got Jaylen Pawloski. How's it going, Jaylen?
I'm good.
Right on, right on. And Josh, could you take a minute to tell us the little bit that you know about Jaylen? Sounded pretty interesting. Just unmute yourself there. Yep. Yeah.
I didn't catch that. What did you say?
So I was just welcoming Jaylen into the conversation here, and I wanted you to briefly explain what brought you to want to bring Jaylen onto the show. It was some pretty interesting stuff.
So, yeah. So, I mean, it's pedigree, right? I mean, the young man was born into this sport. His grandfather, Vince Pawloski Sr., has been arm wrestling with the Armbenders for a long time. His father is also Vince Pawloski Jr. He's been arm wrestling for a long time. They call him the Spartan. He's well known all around, everywhere. Everybody knows the guy. He's taken a little bit of time off, but the whole time Jaylen has been around this sport with everybody over at Mike McGraw's garage, growing up with the Armbenders and arm wrestling. So he's definitely a monster. Like I said, he was one of the people I was telling you about. I think when I met him, he was 15 years old, and taking on grown men, heavyweights, like no problem. And so, super impressive. If he ever sinks his teeth into it and decides that he wants to do it full time, he's going to be a real contender for sure.
Right on. Cool, man. All right, and we've also got down listed as iPhone right now. This is Boone Hodson. What's up, Boone?
How you doing?
Very good, very good.
Good.
Now you are from, I want to say Tennessee, is it?
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma. Okay. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. And you were recommended to me personally by Mr. Corey Johnson. And yeah, that's a big thing for that man to pick you out of anybody. Just random. I put a post on Facebook. I said I want to get some young talent on the show, and he just randomly messaged me on his own behalf. He said, "Get Boone, get him in here." So
he's always helping me out
a bit. And we have the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Jadon Knight in the house. Jadon Knight Jr., as a lot of us know him as. And Jadon, correct me if I'm wrong, is a world champion. So we've got a world champion in the house with us, 2021 world champion at IFA, I believe it was. And we also, what is it? Colorado and California state champion?
Yes, sir.
Jeez. Yeah, so a lot of the people, both under 18 and over 18, know this man's name. In fact, I remember the first practice I went to with Alpha Empire. Derek Smith pulled me over to a table to pull a little bit with Jadon, and it was just like a very humbling experience. You know, I'm like being careful. You were like, I want to say 14 or something at the time. I was like, okay. He's like 14. He's like, wow, holy crap. Yeah, you've got a little bit of that fire in you too, Elijah. That hit you were showing me, that was really impressive Sunday. Okay, and lastly, who we have with us, just came in at the last minute for us, Mr. Derek Trung. How's it going?
Hey.
Hey, man. So did I catch you in the middle of driving somewhere, or did you just come out to get some peace and quiet?
Just peace and quiet.
Gotcha. Okay. So you're a little bit older, Derek. What's your age?
I just turned 20 today.
Okay. And I brought you on for a specific reason, so that you can tell us a little bit about your experience. You're the only one personally that I know in the U.S. Who had started an arm wrestling club in their high school, and at least locally that I know of, because that just really impresses me. And we're going to want to talk about how we can build the sport. I personally think that's one of them. So maybe you can, in a little bit here, talk to these guys about how you did that and any recommendations for the young guys of how they can start their own club, especially in a high school. If we can do that in high schools and get the parents involved, that's insane. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll jump into a couple of you guys, and then how much time do you have, Derek? We can maybe hop over to you after a couple guys.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, cool. So first, let's start up here with David and Paul. David, like a lot of us, I think the first time I saw you was, shoot, would it have been on 217's channel, maybe?
Probably
Yeah,
pulling Devin.
With Devin, making him a little bit like confused and who is this kid? Yeah, that was very impressive. And my gosh. Okay, so if anybody hasn't seen that, it's 217's channel, right?
Correct. It's 217's channel. It's also 217's Instagram.
On Austin's channel.
It's posted on Austin Jagger's TikTok.
It's on Devin's channel. But
It's on Devin's channel, but it's in a longer video. There's a couple of different places you can find it.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, for me, the most impressive thing, other than like Devin Larrett being a little, almost intimidated by you, it seemed like the biggest thing that stood out to me was that hit for your size.
That's one thing. I've always tried to be as fast as possible. That's one thing I hit with a lot of side pressure and a lot of speed. And the super heavyweights in Tennessee threatened to kick me out because they said I hit like a 54 and I'm 300 pounds. So they said I'm not allowed in the super heavyweights. I'm not allowed in their class.
Are there guys that will let you do that in practice that are strong enough or can prepare for it?
There's no, I'm kind of the strongest in my practice group, so it's very difficult for me to get like a really good hit a lot of practice hitting. I mainly rely on tournaments for that type of practice. But sometimes we'll get a couple of big bands, and once I get wore out, I'll do some hitting at the end of practice. Right.
Yeah, that's one thing that I've seen a lot of the stronger guys struggle with. Sometimes at practice, it's hard to even just get good table time with guys. You got to get two hands involved or whatever.
Yeah,
I personally believe. Yeah, I know a lot of guys like this. If you're on a team with somebody like that, I think it's really important to be proactive, to make the offer to pull them two-handed and get them to get some table time. I think it's a little bit more awkward for the strong guy on the team to sit there and propose that with a lot of people, but it can be really helpful to consider him the team's champion, the one that's strong and needs to work out. Well, help him or her out to get some some good training. And so you said you were number 1 super heavyweight in Tennessee right now, right?
Right-handed.
Okay. Any other rankings on the table so far?
I'm number 1 super heavyweight right-handed. I'm number 2 left-handed.
Number 2 team in the country.
And I'm number 2 overall right-handed in Tennessee. Overall left-handed, I believe I'm ranked number 9. We've got a lot of strong left-handed pullers in Tennessee.
Yeah.
And then I've recently had a match with I don't know. I think you texted him, but Landon Anderson.
Oh yeah. I was inviting him on. Yeah.
So he is a freak of nature. That kid. He's a 220, and he is a extremely strong individual. I had a match with him back, not this past March, but the March before that. So about a year and a month ago, and he killed me right-handed. But I've gotten a lot stronger since then. So is he. But we were both 16 at the time, and that was kind of for some people did some rankings and stuff, and they came to the conclusion. I don't remember exactly who it was, but they came to the conclusion that me and him were pretty much the top two. The top 2 teen arm wrestlers in the country. Jadon, he's for a lower weight class, obviously, but we were talking for basically an open weight class and from 18 and under.
Gotcha. Okay. And so did you guys see my call out show last week? by any chance, any of you?
I don't think so.
Okay, so I just started the first one last Thursday, and we have a little Thursday thing we're going to try and do as many Thursdays as we can. And it's really just to hang out. We literally like blast the link out, the Zoom link for anybody to get in on it with us and just talk about arm wrestling stuff. But it's also a platform for people to publicly call out other arm wrestlers. So that said, don't tell me who if yes, but does anybody here have somebody that they would want to call out? Anybody that you're gunning for? Yeah, Levi does.
Mhm.
Okay. Paul, yeah. I see those grins. Okay.
I don't got nobody specific, but now that you mention just publicly calling out, I'm gonna start thinking of people.
Yeah. Yeah. When we put it together, I think that happened. Like all the people that got on there, I think immediately they started thinking about, oh crap, we had so many call outs happen last Thursday. So yeah, do it. You guys are all invited.
I want to call out Michael Todd.
Yeah.
There you go.
I love it.
He can't Kings move me.
Yeah. We'll troll the crap out of him with that. I love it. I'm loving this. All right. And so how long have you been arm wrestling, David?
I've been arm wrestling, me and Paul both, about 3 years.
Are you serious? Just 3
Yeah.
years? Wow. Okay.
About
And what
2 years
exactly
ago.
was it that got both of you into the sport?
Mainly, I started, it was like a 4th of July party, just a big family gathering. And I was arm wrestling some of my older cousins that were, high teens, 20s. I was 14 at the time. And I was arm wrestling with them, and I just kept going undefeated. I was, just doing really well. And my aunt mentioned something about I wonder if there's a club for that, or I wonder if there's a group of people that arm wrestle. And I got to looking it up on YouTube and Facebook, and sure enough, there was a Nashville arm wrestling group, and I messaged some of the guys. Actually, I messaged some of the guys and didn't get a response, and then I got I downloaded ArmBet and got a message on ArmBet, and it was an invitation to a practice, and I went out there, and it was a good time. It was a good time. That's kind of how it all got started. And I've been going.
Cool.
We've been going. That's Nashville Arm Wrestling. The head of that's Jesse White out of Nashville. Shout out to him. He's been a great teacher.
Yeah, I think I might have reached out to Jesse to get him in on a team show.
Yeah.
So if you do talk to any of the guys that are heavily involved in your team, let them know. We would like to get you guys on at some point for Arm Wrestling Showcase to just showcase your team, talk about how you operate, what your practices look like, and things like that. And so before we jump over to Paul, can you let us know any plans you got brewing right now after all this greatness happening right now?
Right now, I don't have a whole lot of plans. I'm training right now pretty hard for the strongest badge. I can't remember. I can't remember exactly which state that's in. I think it might be Missouri, or I'm not exactly sure where that's at, but it's a big tournament. There's supposed to be a lot of supers that go to that, and I'm just going to see if I can hold up. I just attended a tournament in Indiana. It was the Derby City Classic. That was last weekend, and I performed pretty well. I got second out of 12 supers, right-handed.
Tell them who you were
I
in
got-
class with.
I got second to Austin Jaggers.
Wow. Yeah, I think I
That
saw
was a-
some
That
footage
was a
of
tough
the.
class.
Yeah, I think I saw some of that footage of you pulling with him. It's
Yeah.
impressive stuff, bro. So, do you lay out goals, David? Do you have like a goal 1 or goal 2 or anything like that you're gunning for at this moment?
I would say one of my main goals. I want to be number 1 in Tennessee overall.
Overall, okay.
Probably right and left-handed.
Okay.
and I'm not as far off as I'm closer than I am far away, you could say.
Right.
I'm pretty close. I'm number 2. I'm not making any call outs or anything, but yeah, I'd like in the next probably 2 to 3 years, I'd like to keep training and hopefully have a shot at number 1 eventually.
Cool. Well, let's get you to travel soon, because especially if you're one of the top guys in your state, it's about that time,
Yeah, for sure.
Rip up with some new people, find some heavy hitters in some other places if you can,
Totally.
All right,
totally.
Mr. Paul. So this is David's brother, Paul Terrell. How old are you, Paul?
16. I just turned 16 in March.
Oh, wow. Okay. And so did you like arm wrestle for the first time at the same 4th of July party or what?
Oh yeah.
That's where it happened, huh?
We've been arm wrestling. I mean, I've been his training partner, and as a 160, 165 guy, like he was mentioning his hit. He's faster than me.
Oh, wow.
And I'm a lightweight, but he's faster, and he's almost double what I weigh. So, which is super impressive.
Yeah.
And I was pretty competitive for a while in the 154 class. And I was novice for the first year and a half, 2 years, and then I went pro for the last little bit. And now I've kind of gotten too heavy to cut for 154, so now I'm in the pro 76.
Whoa. Jeez.
Yes, sir. And
So-
I'm ranked there.
Really?
I think I'm 9th right and left in the state, but jumping up that much, I'm only around 165, so I still have about 10 pounds to play with. But taking that jump, it's a big strength jump, but also, skill.
Yeah. Well, that ranking is really impressive for your state and your age in the open pro class. That's pretty cool, man. So what would you say is your dominating style in arm wrestling?
Oh, definitely top roll, without a doubt.
Top roll camp, huh? So you a hand guy, or are you more of a mechanical, technical guy?
I would say somewhere in the middle.
Yeah. Okay.
My hand is definitely prevails over my arm, but I'm working more on the inside stuff because the first year and a half of 2 years of my career, I guess you would say, I've top rolled exclusively,
Right.
which has worked. I mean, but yeah.
Yeah, I think it's so transferable. To anybody watching, especially if you're new and your tendency is towards top roll and everything, especially if you got a hand too that you're usually dominating people with. That's only going to go so far in the open class. A lot of people know how to put you on your bicep, and at first I started training the hook primarily, like the 80+% at practice, is because of that. But the strange thing that I found out is it actually ups the top roll game big time.
Definitely.
And because they say, a lot of people will say the ultimate move in arm wrestling is the high hook. Usually if you're setting up for a top roll, it's pretty obvious, and your competitor is going to use every tactic against that. A lot of times if you're setting up for the hook, it's pretty obvious, but if you're setting up for one of those, you got to be pretty committed to dropping into one or the other. But when you have the confidence on both sides of the spectrum and you're pulling in a high hook, you have options, even right from the setup and off of the go. But one of the guys on our team that came in, that's also Derek, you're at a much lighter weight. What are you now, like 135?
Oh, I'm like 120 right now.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
A lot of people his weight, from the 120 to like 160 or so, you always usually see him trying to top roll, be very technical and stuff like
Definitely.
that. But
They
Derek,
say
yep,
say the lighter they are, the harder they fight, which I can't disagree with that because
right.
the light guys are always just fighters,
Oh yeah,
like
pound for
crazy,
pound.
crazy.
Yeah, Derek is so strong, and he's one of the few guys his size that I see that loves to dive into a hook. It's pretty cool. Yeah, my wife's the same way. She's been out of a competition a little bit because she's pregnant, but most girls, they love the top roll. And yeah, she's tiny. She's just wow, you know. If I could tag her, like, you know, to go into a hook with somebody that wants to hook, I would.
But
Sure.
Leah is strong, man. Yeah, man, she'll hurt my arm more than most of the new guys.
Yeah.
To be honest, she just dives right in and she'll just put her leg up on the table to it and start.
Yeah, she's got that move. Do we make a name
to
for
hurt
that
me.
yet? Queen's move?
Man, we did call it that. I remember.
Yeah.
I don't know how.
Leah literally, she put her leg up on the table, like on the table. It's interesting. All right, so sitting at number 9 in Tennessee, what are your upcoming plans right now? I saw you give the nod that you wanted to call someone out. Please save the name for Thursday and come on and do that. But is there any numbers, rankings, any goals that you have coming up here?
I definitely want to. I'm still growing, and that was an issue I had with 154. I was just growing out of that class. I started getting heavier. I couldn't make that cut, like it was too hard on my body. But depending on whether or not I, get heavier than 76 within a year or two, I'd like to be number 176 in 2 to 3 years.
Okay. Yeah.
And I think that's very possible because a lot of people in that class I know personally, I've pulled with. I've had matches with the number 1 guy. His name's Dalton Bumgardner.
Mhm.
And so I kind of know where I'm at. It's pretty far away, but I kind of have a,
It's definitely attainable.
an aim.
Yeah. 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 There's definitely those little things that can help give personal perspective that other people aren't going to understand. It might not read that way on paper, but you might pull guys locally that are higher up there in the rankings and you're like, yeah, there's a lane here or there, and you can kind of put together some goals that way. And I love lofty goals too, but I also do like that, you could even say that goal is a lofty goal in general, but 3 years I think is also reasonable. And for your age, I think that's cool that you're willing to take your time and make that goal happen for sure. So we've also got in the chat Mr. Jadon Knight Jr. here.
Hi.
Yeah. So he actually abandoned us in Southern California. We've been weeping ever since. But yeah, him and his whole family are diehard Alpha Empire. But you guys moved to Oklahoma. And I got to say, though, if you had to move to any state, I love those guys out there. How's it been going for you and Veronica and your dad, Jadon, in Oklahoma so far?
Everything's been going good. We're in a new house now. We first came out here. We're in an apartment. So the apartment wasn't bad. It was pretty cool, a little comfy,
Yeah.
cozy little place. And now we have a nice backyard. And just it's different, the scenery, people, everything about. There's it's a culture change. So it's definitely, I would say it's better than being out in California. Very green. Only thing that's different, we get tornadoes out here. I wasn't used to that. So when I first started hearing we have sirens every Saturday that go off. They just go off, for like practice. That's tornado sirens. But if you hear it on another day, it's weird how they work. They don't go off on Saturday, but you'll get a notification that says the tornadoes are going off, and the are really coming. And if they go off on Saturday, that's just the test one. It's weird. But any other day, then you actually have to worry. It's, I don't know. I thought it was the purge, the sirens, stuff like that. So I was worried, and we've survived. We have a safe room. Like, I don't like the fact that we live in a place where our house has a designated safe room.
Wow.
So it's but it's nice out here though. Everything's nice.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah, I
doing
like
good.
Oklahoma. It's a cool town. I've been to both Tulsa and Oklahoma City, and both were killer. Are you close to either one of those?
I would say we're by Tulsa. We're in Norman.
Okay. So have you hooked up with any clubs out there yet?
No clubs. We're at a all-female arm wrestling tournament, the one in Dallas, Texas, that took place the other day. And I met some of the people that actually have Oklahoma practices, so we'll try to link in with them soon, but no practices so far. Actually, Heraclio came to see us. He does trucking. So he came to our apartment when we had first moved out there, and we had a good practice. But other than that, no practice.
There's some serious beasts out there, and yeah, when we talk a little bit with Boone, maybe we can talk about Corey Johnson and a lot of the people. So yeah, Boone, it is like Corey Johnson, and there's a bunch of heavy hitters out there, isn't there?
Yeah, Jeff Hale.
Jeff Hale, that's what I'm thinking of. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a tough group for sure. Crazy strong.
What part of Oklahoma are you guys in, Boone?
I'm close to like Tulsa.
Tulsa, okay.
Yeah.
I have to add you on Armtube or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're a good group of people out there too. I definitely like the people in general, especially in Tulsa, and a lot of good food too. Yeah, I like the restaurants out there for sure. So and Jadon, greatness pretty much runs in your family. Your dad's super strong. Your mom, isn't she? Is she a national champion, a state champion? What was it again, Veronica?
She's national champion, I'm pretty sure, and also state champion in California, I mean.
Yeah, she's amazing, and we miss her a great deal too. I think she is actually in the chat. We actually have a few, for a new show, a new channel. We've got the chat pretty full today, at least for our standards so far. We got yeah, let me hop down to Veronica. She says, bunch of beasts, mom says. We got Kenpo Fernie in and says, is this the show Todd, Callazo, and Elijah is going to be on? They are here. Say hello. Show them the power, Callazos. See that power.
I'm not doing that. I'll let him do it. I'm excited.
Okay, and Jadon, I believe it's JKX500. Is that your pops?
Yep, that's Pops.
All right. Yeah, he says, yes, that is it. And we've got David Bernatich saying, all those young studs. Who is iPhone? iPhone is the legend Boone Hodson. Yes.
Yeah, I couldn't figure it out how to change it.
Yeah, different devices. For a lot of us, it's kind of a simple place like up here in our little viewing window to hit.
Yeah.
Hey guys,
Mine said I'd have to log out and get back in. So.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, my fault. I'm still learning all this stuff. I should be better about prepping you guys on that. We've got Benjimac in the house. Says, what's up, Jadon? Says, nowhere to run. Kane, Veronica. And let's see. We got, Don Mormon's in the house watching y'all. Don's a legend from up north NorCal, and he's getting back in the game. Yeah, he's feeling strong too. Sounds like he might be coming down sometime in July to arm wrestle some of us SoCal guys. And he says, the young guns, hi everyone. And he's saying hi to Benji. We got West Coast Arm Wrestling in the house saying what's up. We got Ed Bedrosian one of the best, the only good photographer I know of that's coming out to a bunch of events and shooting. If any arm wrestlers or promoters or anything like that need some good arm wrestling shots, he's the man to talk to. He says Jadon is a beast. Yes.
on, man.
You got him blushing over there, Ed. And let's see. David Bernatich says Derek must live in his car. No, Derek doesn't live in his car. Do you live in your car, Derek?
No,
No.
totally no,
You're gonna
definitely
need
not.
something a little more convincing than that.
I might not.
I love it. And yeah, well, would you look at that? My genius wife, Malia, who is the Zoom expert and is teaching me everything that I know so far, hopped up there and she hooked you up, Boone.
Thank you.
Changed your
I
name,
appreciate it.
for you. I guess we can do that on our end. And Veronica says happy birthday, Derek. Is it your birthday,
Thank you.
Derek?
Yeah.
Oh,
Happy birthday, Derek.
Thank you.
heck yeah.
How old are you, Derek?
Just turned 20.
Wow.
I know. It sucks.
Awesome.
West Coast Arm Wrestling says that you looked very impressive against Devin Larrett, David, and
Thank you.
against his left. And remind me again, Josh, West Coast Arm Wrestling is.
I'm not sure. I'm
Oh,
not
I
sure,
thought
bro.
you'd be the one.
No.
Okay, but you know everything, Josh. I got you. I caught you.
Yeah. You know, those are really kind words. I appreciate it, but that is so far from the truth.
We've also got David Bernatich saying, and am I saying your name right, David? He says David Terrell is a tank. He also says, I think, in regards to your hit practice is to use bands. And who are you talking about to call him out right hand before he heals? All right. And yeah, Jadon Senior says Junior and iPhone are both from Oklahoma. Maybe we'll set that up. All right. I like it. Because Boone, you're also 16, I want to say.
Yeah, just turned 16 last week.
Okay. All right. But you're 17 now, right, Jadon?
Yes, sir.
All right. Okay. Yeah, I think we should set that up. What's your ranking, Boone, right now? Or do you have any ranking? Have you competed?
I competed in Arkansas a couple weeks ago and I did pretty well, but I don't know where I sit in Oklahoma right now or anything.
Okay. All
I
right.
haven't been to enough tournaments yet.
All right. We're gonna dig into you a little bit more here. We're gonna just get through the rest of this chat here. We got Josh Hutchison from Florida is in the house. Garage Grinder Arm Wrestling. He's one of the top guys out there right now. Says, "What's up, guys?" And
John.
did I say Josh again?
Yeah.
See, I told you, you know everything, Josh. You catch me not knowing anything. John Hutchison. I did it again. And yeah, West Coast Arm Wrestling is asking how old David Terrell is. Yes, he's 17. And Veronica is asking for all the champs up here, what's your training look like? That's a good question. We'll pause right there. Let's jump over to Jaylen Pawloski. Jaylen, who has been training for 7 years. What does your training look like?
It's more like occasionally I'll go to Mike McGraw's house and I'll pull anyone who's willing to pull.
I like it. Simple. How often?
Probably like twice a month, every once in a while, probably like twice a month around there.
Okay. And do you structure your training out in any particular way, or is it just get to the table and try to pin each other?
It's just I'll warm up with a few people and then depending on how I'm feeling, the more I'll pull. If I'm feeling like fresh and I'm like good, I'll pull like anyone who's like willing to pull. But depending on how my arm feeling, if I like have injuries from other sports, I'll just like calm down. But most of the time, I'm just going as much as I can.
Cool. Yeah, and Levi, how's your training look?
I train 5 days a week. I try to hit volume days, 50 days my max day.
Okay, so you're hitting the gym too, then?
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah.
How often is your table time?
I always do table time 1 to 2 times a week.
Okay. Yeah, very, very cool. And does it feel like your numbers are going up?
Yeah, a lot.
I love it. Yeah, that's one thing I've been trying to add to my training regimen is getting the gym time in there. I still think table time's the best, but it does seem to be a game changer to hit that gym. So one little dynamic I want to throw in here, Elijah. What's up, Elijah?
Hey, man.
Hey, so Elijah's been training pretty heavy. You can see it's evident in your training videos that you've been posting, Todd. Yeah, you're benching. You've got a nice training table with the cables and everything like that, and you're getting it, man. And you're also training really hard on the table. So per Veronica's question regarding some of these champs, let's get a little bit of advice and feedback for some of the newer guys that are here in this. Jadon, what would you recommend in terms of training? If you're new, you're under 17 years old, what does your training look like? What would you recommend?
For newer people starting out, I would say pulling motions. So doing, just pull-ups and curling. Another thing that a lot of people don't look into is hand strength. So doing grippers, as well as tendon strength. So I would say wrist curls. And as you progress, you'll go into like hit straps, do strap work. What I do for my training, I have let's say 50 pounds or so, and it's on like a little metal rod. It's on a metal rod, and then you attach a strap to the top of it, put it over your thumb, and that gets your pronation going. And sometimes I'll drop down, like squat down to it too, so I can put my legs into it while I pull it up. Because I like to train my whole body. I feel like training your whole body is important. So, but focusing just on pulling motion and hand control. That's what I recommend.
Cool. Yeah. I really like those compound movements, like the pull-ups and stuff like that, especially for new guys too. I think that's good advice, and the full body stuff. David and Paul, how about you guys? You're out there getting it. How does your training look?
Time is by far the most important. Definitely,
table time, you said?
Undeniably, table time is the best for furthering your technique. I would say getting stronger and endurance for sure is going to come a lot with. That's more when you're getting into tournament pulling and things like that, which is kind of our focus. But keeping your endurance high, keeping your strength up, and technique, technical. But yeah, I would say definitely table time is number one. And I wowould say when you're trying to get stronger, like me personally, when I'm trying to get stronger, I'm lifting heavy weights. I'm lifting 80% and up of my max. So if my max is 100 pounds, I'm lifting, 80 pounds for reps. I'm doing 90 for reps. I'm doing, I'm trying to bump my max up even higher. It just depends on different movements and stuff. But if you're trying to get stronger, heavy weights build strength, light weights build endurance and are for healing. I use when I'm after a tournament, like the past couple of days after I pulled in Indiana, I've been just very lightweight and a ton of reps. just getting blood to the muscles to heal. And I feel a whole lot better. After that, I promise you, if you ever have like a super heavy day where you're hitting max and stuff, Levi, I'm sure you swear by it. A lot of reps getting blood to the area will help it heal a whole lot more quickly than just sitting there and just waiting it away. Just get you 10 pounds. That's all I use. It ain't gotta be heavy, just enough to strain it enough to where you're getting blood to it. Just a lot of motion. I mean, I'm talking like 500 to 1,000 reps.
Yeah.
Just a lot of volume is going to get as much blood to the area as possible, and it's really going to help heal it. And I would say, train, take days and train, like one day do pronation, one day do rise, one day do cup. But yeah, it's just, it's whatever works for you. I don't train as much as I should. I'll be honest with you. I should train a whole lot more than I do. But I'm getting more serious and I'm training harder. But I swear by table time, that's definitely the best thing in my eyes is being on the table, practices. Me and my brother Paul, we usually don't go a day without messing around on the table, doing something. It may not be, but for 10 or 15 minutes. But usually, we're doing something to arm wrestle a little bit during a day or an evening or whatever it may be.
Right. Yeah, I could see that being hugely beneficial, not just for the blood flow. I do find that the more you're doing,
exactly. And another thing is,
it's kind of like a maintenance thing,
Yeah, the more you're doing a movement, like the more I train. If I've got a karate belt over my thumb and I'm training pronation, the more comfortable I'm going to get when I'm on the table to pronate.
Yeah.
It's those different types of movements that you will get more comfortable with, especially when you're a newer guy.
Yeah. I find it helpful for endurance too. Of course the volume helps with that, but any kind of training every day, it kind of keeps your muscles and everything primed to constantly be working. They're being conditioned that way. Derek Smith actually preaches pretty heavily for all of our new arm wrestlers, table time, mostly the first couple years. That's going to depend on each person and their path, mostly on how quickly they get through the pains and getting their muscle.
Once you get past the newbie pains, as we call it,
getting the elbow,
elbow's just aching to death.
And then once that happens, you can start introducing the power from the gym, and all that. So did you have anything you wanted to add to that, or is that pretty much how things work, Paul, for both of you guys?
Well, so like for me, pulling with a guy who's, I think when we started, he may have been more around 260, 280. But at the time when I started, I was 13 and I weighed 130.
Yeah.
It was not a lean 130. I was heftier. But, I've been very blessed to start at such a young age. But as far as training goes, me and David have pretty much always just arm wrestled. Like, people think we train a lot. We should, and we're trying to. We got a pulley system from one of our Nashville arm wrestling guys, Chris Harrison. He hooked us up with a pulley system, so we're happy to have that, and we're starting to do more weights. But table time has always been it, and like pulling with a guy who's almost twice my size. Some people call it little man syndrome, but you fight a lot harder. And being brothers, I just always wanted to beat him. But the stronger he got, he just got stronger and stronger. Obviously, the weight advantage, but yeah. But table
I'm jealous
time.
that you guys are you both get to be so accessible to each other to train and pull a little bit like every day. That's gotta go miles for both of you.
Definitely.
Nice. Wait, what? Oh yeah, no, yeah, I'm actually getting to that. Malia's concerned about you and your birthday plans, Derek. And your time. So we actually got Derek in here last minute so we could discuss that high school club that he started back a few years ago. So what I'll do is I'll catch up with the chat real quick here, and we'll get into that, and then we're going to go through each of the other pullers here. Right, yeah, Veronica talking about Malia, says Malia is a firecracker. Mayhem, Malia's Queen's move. That's what the move is called, with the leg up on the table like that. Yes, pretty soon all the ladies are going to be doing it. Yeah, and Jadon says, yeah, Junior hasn't been to any Oklahoma practices yet. Tulsa is about 2 hours from them. So, and name the town that you're in again, Jadon.
I'm in Norman.
Norman. All right. Anybody out there in Oklahoma, you know, or Boone, if you have any recommendations, anybody like closer, let's make that happen.
Yeah.
And we got Caleb Armbender in the house. What's up, Caleb? He says, what's up, everybody?
I know that guy.
Yeah. Yeah. He actually has a big match coming up with the other gentleman in here that I love to call Josh for some reason, but John Hutchison. Yes. All right. Let's see some warfare in the chat, guys. Come on now. Let's get this started. Let's see. People saying hi to each other. Let's see. Yeah, thanks for adding Boone's name, says Summer. Is Summer your mom? Nice.
Yes.
Nice. Good looking out. And yeah, Vince the Spartan says California Armbenders, baby. All right. And here we go. Here's something. How is Caleb? Hope you're training up, buddy. Looking forward to that match you have versus Sam Taylor. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's Pavlo. I can't say Pavlo's last name. Durbin Daniev's boy. No, Sam, yeah, I don't think Sam is Pavlo's son, right? Yeah, I don't think so. I think Sam just might look a little bit like somebody that is his son, but I think that kid's a little younger, maybe. But I know from talking and pulling Sam Taylor, he trains a lot. I know his dad arm wrestles, who is his name is slipping me, but his grandpa apparently has some big catcher's mitt of a hand, and a lot of Sam Taylor's style has been attributed to that, how to deal with a big strong hand. And yes, Paul Terrell is 16. We got Jarhead Raymond in the house. Gabriel Young is in the house.
I know that guy.
Yeah, he says David and Paul are insane. And so is Junior. And get to know the rest of these guys here. These guys are some tough bucks too. Let's see. Caleb says, what's up, is NorCal in the house? And no, Sam Taylor isn't Pablo's son, but they do look similar, different weight though. Yeah. And Paul Stevens is in the house too. What's up, Paul? Always good to see you. Tristan Shaw says, what's up, fellas? We got Daniel Foster saying, hey, Jadon. And let's see. Gosh, this is a lot of chat here. A lot of people saying what's up to each other. All right, almost caught up here. When my pronation fails, I usually end up practicing my pronation, prostration, praying. And let's see. What other sports do any of these young studs play? David Bernatich wants to know, do any of you play other sports? I know Elijah, no, your family plays other sports.
I play other sports.
Okay. Anybody in here play any other sports?
I play basketball and baseball.
Basketball and
I
baseball.
play golf
And how does that work out for you?
It's fun. Just enjoy it while at school. There's something to do.
Okay, I'm only asking because I used to love to play those sports too, but after I started training arm wrestling long enough, throwing a baseball, that hurts, man.
But the thing is, like, you gotta, if your technique's right and you just keep doing it, it builds your arm strength, if anything.
Right. Okay. Yeah. The first time I learned that throwing anything anymore was a problem. Yeah, maybe because I wasn't conditioning it as much as arm wrestling. I went to skip rocks. I had a skipping rocks competition with a family member, and yeah, he annihilated me. But yeah, like my first throw, my arm was blown out for like 4 months from throwing a little rock. It was incredible. But I think that was like almost 2 years in with the amateur pains. And Justin Case says, does Jadon have a girlfriend? Asking for a friend. No?
Oh, I love myself.
That's a smart guy.
Yeah.
But with the sports thing, I was just waiting until everybody was done talking. I don't do any like other sports professionally, or I don't play for a team, but I do boxing. I get in the gloves a lot.
Okay.
Yeah, me too.
What's up?
Cool.
Cool.
Well,
That's
all
about
right. Before we dig a little deeper with some of these guys, Derek Chung. So, yeah, I don't want to keep you too long if you have plans or anything, but you started in arm wrestling at your high school. How long, like, how old were you when this happened?
So me and my buddy Tyler, I think we're 15 or 16.
Okay.
And there's like no clubs nearby that like are accessible, because like we're all kids, we can't drive far, we can't do much. So we just thought we'd like start a club at the school.
Okay. And what town again was this?
Glendora.
Right. Okay. And what did you have to do to start this club at the high school?
Okay, so for ours, high school specifically, there's like a few steps to take before you kind of get like permission, I guess, to have a club and to make it public and whatnot. So then we just went to administration, and you also have to get like approval from like specific teachers that will advise your club. So you have to talk to them, and then we always discussed safety. We always made that super important to like show the counselors and whatnot that we're responsible. No one's gonna get hurt, because the arm break is always like, oh, that's scary or whatever. But me and my buddy Tyler, we learned all the safety and whatnot. And we learned how to teach people. So we just had to talk to a few people, get approved, and then we built a table. We started taking it to I guess like the center of school during lunch every Friday, and then it kind of just happened like that.
Wow, I like it. Yeah, I think the safety angle is a really wise angle to go to get the administration in on something like that. Has anybody else in here attempted to start an arm wrestling club at their high school? No? So, okay.
I would have, but me and my brother were homeschooled, so.
Oh, gotcha.
We, but if I was in public school, I would have definitely started a club for sure.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. Now, yeah, I have my own take as to why. You know, it's not just something beneficial for us to have someone train with. We'll get into that in a minute. Malia, she actually wants to know from Derek, did you have to have any waivers signed for the like safety and stuff like that?
No, actually, no. The things that the school was like pretty on board with it after like a few, I guess, weeks or months, just because like we had 0 injuries, no one was getting hurt, and it was like pretty popular during like I guess lunchtime where everyone's free, everyone's running around for like an hour, right? So no one had to sign anything, and actually they were going to start to like incorporate our club into school events. So they would have like, I guess, different classes for like the years, like juniors and seniors would compete, and then the freshmen and sophomores would compete like during high school events. And then sometimes for fun, like an idea floating around was to have like teachers compete from different departments, just for fun, because it gets like students like riled up, a good time, right?
Yeah.
But then I guess we kind of got shut down during COVID. Like everyone, like Zoom calls and everyone's at home, so that sucked. But no one had to sign anything because we were taking care of each other pretty well.
Very cool. Yeah, that's impressive. I think this is great. How many people did you have on your team at its height?
So we had like a pretty cool like club photo. I swear it's like 40 or something kids. Like
What?
just, yeah, it was huge, right? And then
Oh
like
my
every
gosh.
week, every Friday, just because we're out in the public,
Yeah.
like public setting, kids would just walk by and we'd call them out, and it'd be like maybe 15, 20 people for like a little tiny practice for like an hour or half an hour during lunch.
Okay. Yeah, that's a great way to do it. And yeah, put it right out in the open. Okay, so I'm gonna take this opportunity to also bring Todd and Elijah into the conversation here. So my personal interest in not just you younger guys, but arm wrestling in schools is building the sport. So you guys are very, very important. The more young arm wrestlers we can get in this sport, the more it's going to boost it. It helps reduce that stigma a little bit, especially with parents and everything. But the ultimate way to do that is to get this in schools. How many sports do we have in high schools? Like a ton. You know, we have a lot. And I think one of the things that having these other sports like baseball and basketball and the typical sports that are in there, it informs everybody. What's one of the most common things you see at, you know, even like little league games, but all the way into like high school games, you see the parents like coaching all the kids and everybody knows all the rules, and that goes all the way into pro ball. When we're watching as spectators, we're, you know, sitting there or watching on the TV or at the stadium and saying, oh, you know, you need to put in this pitcher, or, oh, you know, you need to throw the curveball. Why do you keep throwing that crappy fastball, you know, or choke up a little? You know, we're all trying to like say the things because we understand the sport. And I think arm wrestling is one of the least understood sports. Just go into the most viral channels and look at the comment section. It's hilarious. Like the people that don't arm wrestle with clubs and don't train in it, like their perception of it is so, it's just foreign, you know, that they don't get it. And I think bridging that gap is a big way of helping. And this is a conversation I really like having with you, Todd. You seem to have a lot of good insight on that. Can you talk to us about your views on this, since you've come into the sport of arm wrestling with Elijah?
Yeah. Hey, you know, first let me just thank all the other young men that are on here. I mean, awesome insight. We're learning. I'm learning along with him. We're more of a baseball family. My grandfather played pro ball in Puerto Rico. My dad, my uncles, on both sides of our families. I played ball. My son plays varsity, my older one. Elijah was a beast when he played, just didn't love it, didn't love the grind. There's a grind in all sports, there's discipline. Same thing with arm wrestling. We used to binge watch on YouTube and just really enjoy the Travis Bajents and you know, Devin and all these guys. So we wanted to find something for him to do. And we went through boxing and we kind of looked at football and wrestling. And I was like, well, how about arm wrestling? The problem was, going to what your question is, where do we go? Yes, yeah. Yes, there's some, you know, groups and clubs, but they're all adult. I have no idea. I could take my 14-year-old and have them mingle with grown men and women. I have no idea. There's no information that's right there at the fingertips because there's no grassroots organization.
Yep.
Awesome job with the high school, but that's just local, and it's more for what you want to do in your locality. But how do we expand the sport? It's got to start at the grassroots. So knowing baseball extensively, and I've coached for over 15 years, every city, every location in the United States and now in the world has an organized league that's broken down into teams in that league, that's broken down into coaches, whether it be paid coaches or volunteer coaches. There's clubs, there's places to practice. You can pay for pitching lessons. We've got all these arm wrestlers that know what the sport is. They know the details. We're just learning. I am amazed I don't even arm wrestle and I'm having fun. Like in my spirit, I want to go and arm wrestle, but I know that's not going to work well. Not in the, my strength or anything, just with the injuries I've had in past experiences with sports. And I don't want to hurt myself. It's not fun being hurt. So at a grassroots level, what can we do to bring it to the city level, when those city magazines come out and, hey, you want to join volleyball? Hey, there's a boxing club. Hey, I don't see anything with arm wrestling. Who's willing to step out and say, hey, I'll coach. I got 3 tables in my garage. Let's get, I need 12 guys to volunteer between this age and that age. It goes from there, and all of a sudden, you get different teams, 4, 5, 6 teams. Now you can have competitions and make up a point system based on weight classes, and now more people get involved. This is a spectator sport. It's like wrestling. You know how energetic a wrestling match is in high school?
Oh yeah. Those are crazy.
It has that same energy because it's personal and it's one-on-one. And there's a level of physical violence to it where it's not really violent, but then everybody's like family at the same time. And I think that when people start to understand the family atmosphere and yet the ferocious competition, and yet afterwards, let's go get a steak or let's practice tomorrow and help each other get better. It's very unique. It's a very unique community. And I think that grassroots, these young men right here, I'm hoping have more of a vision than just for themselves, but for the community at large. And if we can get that, you'll see this sport grow in the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years. It's cool what all these pros are doing on YouTube. They're bringing attention. But somebody like Elijah, who's 14, that's interested, and I'm looking, it takes me 1.5 years to finally find a place where we can actually make that kind of, thing come true of becoming an arm wrestler at whatever level it lands up being. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
That's really the key, man, being able to give people access, and information. The only way I found this by accident, because I was looking, is I met Tony Tomlinson at my job at American Flooring.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's pulling up. I'm pulling up. I'm getting some boards for my customers. This guy's got Orange County arm wrestling on his truck. I'm like, okay, I'll talk to anybody. This guy's a monster. So, So I walked up to him. I talked to him. I'm like, man, my son's interested in getting arm wrestling. We have nowhere to go. We don't know what to do. I don't know where to start. And he was like, Derek Smith, hit him up on Facebook. I'm like, really? Yeah, he's in San Bernardino. I did it. Derek's been gracious. The whole team is amazing. And that's what started it. So we've been in 7, 8 weeks strong, minus 1 week when he was sick. And my son plays varsity baseball, but he's almost done with that. So I sold his pitching machine and his L screen for $1,100, and I converted that into a bunch of hand grips and a table with a pulley system. And we already got a rack in the house, in the garage. And Elijah's just hitting it, and he's very motivated. The thing that I'm blessed to see is that he's enjoying the process, right? He's not just working to get better. He's actually having fun.
Yeah, I can tell.
That's the thing, man. It's getting the information out to the people so they know how to access.
Yeah. I can definitely see it. You're generally a pretty quiet guy, Elijah. But I could see it all over your face when we're training and I'm watching you train with other guys. If you can, in your words, what is it that is drawing you to the sport the most? I think that's going to help us understand this dynamic as well.
I'm really enjoying the process, and it's really fun. Everybody's really encouraging. They're supportive. It's great. Yeah.
Kane, you were the first guy that grabbed them when you started teaching him. I videotaped it.
Yeah.
I want to thank you because that kicked it off.
Oh.
Okay. That was the first experience. People have misconceptions about individuals, how they look, what they're involved in. Guerrilla guys, arm wrestlers, but nah. this is like a real family from all different backgrounds. Derek, you, Derek number 2, Lorenzo, Will. I mean, all these guys, Isai. I mean, it is amazing the family atmosphere that you get to be blessed with at these functions that we do every Sunday.
Yes.
So that has a big play, especially in a young kid like 14 years old, and I'm sure for the rest of the arm wrestlers here, these studs that hopefully Elijah can become in a few years. That example by the older generation, or even if they're not older generations, 10 years older, that's a big confidence booster into helping these guys become young men. So
absolutely,
I love this sport. You know, again, played baseball. I was big time in tennis when I was younger as well. And I definitely would have been involved in arm wrestling if I would have had information to know what it was more about. You know what I mean? So educating the public, getting things started on the local level like Derek did, and really giving people access and permission to say, hey, come. You know, it's okay. You're 14, come. It's fine. That's important.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and Derek really is such a huge advocate for this sport. Anybody watching, you know, go check out Derek Smith. And he's the kind of guy that's like, if you want to know where there's a local team or there's anything accessible for you or training questions, he opens up the door for you to message him on Instagram or something like that, you know. So we all love Derek Smith a ton. One thing you said earlier when you were mentioning the wrestling competitions, you know, they are crazy. They're pretty wild, and the community around that at the schools and stuff is really impressive. And the first time I felt like we had that, at least at anything that I had been to for arm wrestling, was Josh's event, the North for South. You know, you can if you go to Armtube or Benjimac's channel and watch the footage of it, you can definitely get the vibe of it. But you know, being there, it was nuts. And I truly believe a lot of that was attributed to it being just a super match series. Great super matches all day. And so it had that one-on-one factor that you get at a wrestling competition where everybody is watching these two competitors have a match and everyone's invested in it. So and Josh, you're a really smart guy, especially in this department. I like a lot of the ideas you have. What's your take on what Todd's talking about here? You know, starting with the local level and all these things. Anything you can comment on that about building this sport, especially the youth side?
Yeah, I love what Todd said. 100%. I completely agree. That's one of the things that we're trying to do up here with the nonprofit, with the Nowhere to Run nonprofit, is to offer a place for at-risk youth or kids that are even kids that aren't at risk and come from poverty or gang-stricken neighborhoods. Anybody's welcome, but mainly for the youth to keep them from having idle hands and sitting around not doing anything. Offer them different sports programs with mentors and you know, positive, you know, figures in the community that they can build a relationship with, and learn how to, you know, reach their goals. Different things, tutoring, all these things, like I want to have involved. But yeah, I think that more things have to happen to where people are offering it at the younger level. I've said it from the beginning, like if you don't get kids involved, there will be no tomorrow. The kids are tomorrow for every sport, right? And so if you don't build it around them, then there's not going to be no exciting 5 years down the road. They are the newcomers in the sport. They're the guys who we're going to be watching on TV in a few years. With that being said, it has to be focused around them. It can't be like Todd was saying, it can't just be focused around adults for the majority everywhere we go. Yeah, so I think that once people get on board with that more, and guys like all these gentlemen that we have on here this evening, keep on spreading it around. Kids are gonna talk to their friends a lot more than adults are about something they're excited about, and that's how we spread things, right? So
100%.
Absolutely. Yeah, and that is one strange thing about this in terms of like it kind of being an old man sport. A lot of people have the belief that you get stronger as you get older in this sport, and those tendons get fashioned. So for that reason, I absolutely love it when I see you young guys come in and are like beasts. I've seen it on our own team. And it gives a lot of hope for the future, not just for the fact that you guys can bang with a lot of these older guys, but it just makes you think like, dude, what are you guys going to be like in 5 years? What are you going to be like in 20 years? It's a trip to think about. But so
sorry about
Boone,
that. Can you imagine?
No, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Can you just real quick? Can you imagine this becoming a high school sport?
Oh, it would change everything. Everything.
I'm telling you, I never knew arm wrestling was this fun, and I'm not even doing it. I'm just watching.
Yeah,
it's incredible.
Yeah,
Todd, I've been saying for the last couple of years, Todd, that once it becomes a high school sport, that's our door into the Olympics. Like the only way it can become an Olympic sport if it's a high school sport. That's how it spreads. Yeah, for sure.
And it's not like the other sports lose anything. So a guy playing football can still arm wrestle. A guy that's playing baseball, it's throwing 90 miles an hour, can still arm wrestle. Just a matter of getting it in the right season and letting these kids go at it. You got tryouts, you got to make the team, you got weight classes, just like wrestling.
Right.
I think it's there. The sport is absolutely incredible. And I'm new to it, just like my son, and I'm really, really taken back.
Yeah, and any form of it in high school would be great, but going back to what we were talking about with the wrestling and super matches and stuff like that, I think it would be a lot more interesting in high schools if it was within a super match format. Tournaments would be great too. I just don't know that it would be easy to follow and for parents to get invested as seeing their kid along with everybody else watching their kid go against one other kid and really be invested in that match. Tournaments can get really confusing and everything like that. So I don't know, like I'm not saying it's like the answer, but it definitely, I feel like it gets more people involved. And if a bunch of parents had to go to an arm wrestling event for their kid, I think it would be a lot more interesting for everybody in a super match format.
Much more. I've been to maybe 15 tournaments in the last year and a half, and the most excited that I've been in that whole time was watching my son and daughter compete. Yeah. It's definitely it's a different dynamic. It's completely. And then you know what else is when we were down there at Grinder Gym at Dave Depew's spot, my daughter was pulling, and Sarah and Jason Tono were there, and they were hanging out and this and that. And then Sarah took a liking to my daughter and was investing her the whole time. Well, then when you watch the kids go up there and pull, it was like North versus South. Everybody was invested in that way more than the adults. When the adults are up there, they're like, whatever. The kids hop up on the table and everybody's like, oh, watch this kid, watch that kid. So even the adults get more excited to watch the younger gen, sitting there and getting involved. Right.
Absolutely. And I like Dave's events too down there in San Diego. They do get really creative with how they throw their promotions. I enjoyed the King of Cali. They do a lot of cool stuff. So Boone Hodson. Now Corey Johnson handpicked you to be on here. And so I have a special interest with you because I have a high respect for Corey, pulling him in Tulsa. How exactly did you and Corey come to meet? You train with him or what?
Yeah, so I started pulling over at Jim Coyle's, and
oh, cool.
He came over for so he came over for a practice, and I just met him there. And about a month later, I saw him again, and he messaged my mom on Facebook asking me to go over there with him and Jeff Hale. I've just been there ever since. It's just great people.
So you're training with Jeff Hale too, then, huh?
Yeah.
Wow. Look out, anybody that has to go against Boone in the near future.
Yeah, I definitely have the best of the best to train with every week.
Okay, so how long have you been in the sport for, Boone?
A little under 2 years.
2 years. And have you competed anywhere yet?
Yeah, I've been to about 4 tournaments. I went undefeated right and left in Arkansas at 154 amateurs, and then hopped up a weight class at 176s and got second left-handed.
So this is amateur so far.
Yeah, I definitely plan on pulling pro my next one.
That is very, very impressive, especially for your age. And so you're up to 176s now?
No, I'm kind of heading that direction, just with like growing and just getting taller and everything, and cutting down's getting a little bit harder each time.
Yeah.
And so I'm moving that direction for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
And are you primarily, so you're 2 years in, you're the perfect person to ask this. What does your training look like? Is it mostly still table time, or you
Yeah, so we do table time once a week, every Sunday, but I go to the gym about every night by myself. I love working out, and I try to do a lot of hand and wrist stuff in my room now, just because I've realized it's a lot more important and everything. So it's going good.
Right on. And you said you're looking to maybe go to the pro class at some point. Yeah. Do you have an event picked out for that?
Michael Todd is putting on a tournament May 20th, 20 something, somewhere in there. And I think I'm going to give that one a shot.
Okay. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
Sounds like Michael Todd's events are great. It'd be a good one for you to just go big.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And what is your first initial goal that you have coming up? Is that it to pull pro, or?
Yeah, that's kind of I want to try to win a pro tournament, or pro open class. I want to try to win and see how I do.
I like it.
Yeah.
Good man. Do you, what would you recommend for anybody else that's new, anybody under 18 that's getting into the sport? Would you recommend them taking a couple years before trying to pull that open class?
And I say just kind of judge where you're at. Like, if you're ready to pull the pro class, then pull the pro class. But I definitely think your first 4 or 5 tournaments, pull amateur. Get some medals to hang up and go from there. Try to win some money.
Nice. Now, go ahead.
I'll tune in there. With my experience pulling amateur tournaments, it's great for when you're first starting out. I would say once you have placed pretty highly in an amateur tournament, like once you're placing, once you're getting first in your weight class, at a tournament, once you're, if you're getting, first and second, consistently, depending on who's there, because I've been at tournaments where there are pro level guys pulling in the novice, and I've been at tournaments where there are, novice level guys pulling in the pro, and it's the best way to explain it is the novice guys are going head to head trying to beat each other. The pro guys is where you're going to find somebody that's a higher level that, they're going to beat you maybe, but they might come up to you afterwards and be like, hey, I pulled you, let me talk to you about this. Let me tell you where this is. Where, with novice guys, you're going to just kind of butt heads and just be like, oh, I want to beat you, for first place. And pro is a more competitive class, but you learn a lot more from my experience competing in pro.
What was the first thing, David, that you noticed about your competitors, about just in general, jumping from amateur to pro? What was the biggest difference that you noticed right away?
Probably, I'm trying to think of my first pro tournament. I think my first pro tournament was maybe like Tennessee State or something last year. I've been pulling pro for a little over a year, maybe a little less than a year. I can't remember exactly. It's all been kind of a blur. I've been to like probably 17 tournaments, 15 to 17 tournaments. So I'm pretty, I've been to a lot, and I pulled probably 6 or 8. I pulled maybe 8 or 10 tournaments until I went pro. And once I started placing like first place, and then I've always pulled supers because I've always been heavy. So it was a little more difficult for me to win my class going against grown men, because I started pulling it when I was 15 is when I started out in that class. And when you're going against grown men that have been 1 to 2 years in the sport, and I'm just starting out, a 15-year-old kid, it can be intimidating for sure to pull such a big class. But once I started placing and then placing second, first, then I was like, hey, I think I'm ready. I've placed first maybe 2 tournaments, and I think I'm ready to move up to pro. And once I made that jump, it's just been an upwards trajectory for sure. Because I kind of felt like my strength was kind of plateauing when I was in the novice class, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Because I felt like I wasn't, it's always good to challenge yourself. In my eyes, it's always good to, try to go against the stronger guys, try to, challenge yourself as much as you can. And that's what I found was the best, was jumping up to pro and just jumping in with the big dogs and see what happens.
There's this saying in arm wrestling that's very popular, that this sport is a marathon, not a sprint. And each person's interpretation of this sport is, of course, going to be individualized by your own path. But that said, for me, I feel like that statement, that saying that this is a marathon, not a sprint, I feel like there's a little bit more to it than that. What you said about challenging yourself, I think, is extremely important. Yeah, because you can get trapped on both sides of that statement.
Oh, definitely,
I watch a lot of people see it as a marathon, and they just kind of keep going to practice for years, and won't train, and they feel like they have to be at some particular level or something to go out there and compete. But at the same time, there's other people that just see it as a sprint, go out and get hurt right away, and don't really know the fundamentals or the safety to do it. To me, where that saying makes sense, that this sport is a marathon, not a sprint, I think it's both. I think as long as you learn the fundamentals and safety, challenge yourself absolutely with whatever the reasonable challenges are to keep progressing forward. If you have to pull amateur and pro, go for it and get that experience. But to me, the marathon point is that dynamic of the sport that is so interesting. It doesn't matter if you're number 1 in the state, there's still levels above you.
Always.
These levels, they keep going. We've got superstars here in this country that they've still got a little ways to go, to be able to compete on that world stage in their class. And it's one of the fascinating things about this sport. So that's the biggest part of the marathon that I see. But on the other hand, if someone just wants to see it as a marathon and they just want to come to practice and they never want to ever compete and just hang with their buddies and everything like that, there's nothing wrong with it. It's the community of the sport. It's a cool community, But jumping back over to you, Boone, for a second. Do you have anybody that you're going to be looking to call out on our call out show on Thursday? You don't say the name yet. I just want to know if you do.
No, I can't think of anybody right now, but I'll be looking.
No? Yes.
I will be looking.
Okay, good. Yeah, think about it. If you can think of someone by Thursday, let's shake some things up a little bit. Come on.
All righty.
All right, man. So we still have to talk a little bit with Jaylen. We still got to talk with you a little bit, Levi. And we've been going an hour and a half because we've got several interesting people on here. I just want to let you guys know if anybody has to cut, let me know. Jaylen or Levi, if you got to cut, let me know. I'll hop onto you right away. If not, I'm just going to check in here with the chat because we got a lot more people that popped in here. Pulling Isai, our teammate, says Todd is the man. And I believe earlier he actually called out Derek Trump. He wants your hook.
He ain't got no hook.
He ain't got no hook?
He ain't got no hook.
Oh, he's getting strong. He's getting strong.
Super match words.
Okay, all right. So you just heard what he said, Isai. I think we might have to get you on the show Thursday, and you might have to make a big call out. And I like the idea of a hook only match and that would be weird too, because Isai, you're like 9 feet tall. And Derek, you're like 120 pounds. What's your height?
5'3".
I love it. I love this match. Just the hook match. Let's do this. All right. Yeah, we've got a lot of chats in here. I think I saw Corey in here, Corey Johnson. Let me find him again. Where are we at? Good God, there you are. Okay. He said Jason Knight. Yeah, I know us arm wrestling thumbs. We can't hit letters right. He meant Jadon Knight. Look up Robert Kelly, Matt Satori, Albert Gross. They are within 30 to 45 minutes from Norman. Did you get that, Junior?
I got it. Yeah, I'm gonna look into them.
Yeah, Robert Kelly's super cool, and I know of the other guys he mentioned. I just haven't talked to them before. But yeah, that's awesome, Corey. Thanks for putting that out there.
Thank you for that. Yeah, I'm gonna look into them for sure. I want to meet some new people out here in the Oklahoma area, practice with them. They're different out here in the country for sure. They got a different type of strength.
Yeah.
Throwing hay bales, working on the farm.
Yeah, their hands, they're strong. They're really strong. Yeah, they are strong out there. And yeah, your dad says we have no problem driving 2 hours depending on the day. Also met some guys that pull in the town of Edmond.
Yep, Edmond, that's a good one.
Yeah, Don Mormon says, where is the hitman? And we've got Veronica asking.
I think we're doing a younger kids show soon, Don.
Okay. All right.
See, I can.
We got Landon Anderson in here. Landon says, I say everyone needs one novice tournament, then should go immediately to pro. The faster you level up your competition, the faster you'll improve. I think there's a lot of truth to what he's saying, but be safe, everybody. Make sure you know the fundamentals and everything. I've mentioned on here before that I started competing pro a couple months into the sport, but I'm older. I've got a lot of background in sports and stuff, and I didn't just make that decision on my own. I did talk to my coach, and based on where he thought I was and how safe I was at pulling, he said, go for it, do both. Pull pro, pull amateur. So that's one thing I would definitely add. Talk to somebody that's experienced, that is pulling, preferably your teammate or your coach who has been watching you grow. They're going to have really good insight on what your path should be at that point. Landon also says me and David was each other's first super matches. Was it really?
Yeah, that's right.
And how did that go, David?
It went great for Landon. He dominated. Yeah.
No kidding.
He killed me 3-0 right-handed.
Oh, wow.
I think I jumped in that boat a little too early.
And how would that match go now?
It's tough to say. We're pretty close. I mean, my honest predictions will probably be like, if we had a match right and left-handed, it would probably be like, I think I would probably win right-handed. It would probably be like maybe like 3-1 or 3-2. And then I think Landon would win left-handed. I think it would probably be the same 3-1 or 3-2 left-handed. He's got the edge. We're both kind of like polar opposite with our styles. Landon is primarily a hooker right-handed and primarily a top roller left-handed. And I'm mainly a hooker left-handed and right-handed. I'm kind of versatile. I can hook and top roll. With my main technique would be like a high hook, right-handed. But I'm decently versatile, both hands. I can top roll left-handed. It's kind of sketchy, but Landon, he's learning how to top roll right-handed, and it's getting scary because he's got some serious power. But he's been in the sport a year longer than me. So
and what's his rank?
His rank, hold on just 1 second, I can tell you.
He's Tennessee as well?
Yeah, he's Tennessee as well. He's East Tennessee.
Okay.
Yep. I'm in Middle Tennessee and he's East Tennessee. Give me just a second. I'll pull up his rank. So for 220, he is number 3 left-handed in Tennessee. And for 220 right-handed, he is number 3 right-handed.
Okay.
For all of Tennessee.
Well, Landon, Mr. Anderson, I think you need to hop on the show Thursday too and make a little call out. Let's see this match, or do you need to call him out? I'm not sure. It sounds like he's the lighter guy, right?
He is the lighter guy. Yep. He pulls 220.
Right.
I think he's like maybe 2 months older than me, but we're good buddies. We're not really like super, I don't know, we're not like trying to have a match right now, but a lot of people are pushing it. I wouldn't be surprised if we have a rematch eventually.
Okay.
But
is he on your team?
We're all like Team Tennessee. Tennessee kind of operates as one, if we go to an out-of-state tournament, all the Tennessee guys are hanging together. All of us are cheering for each other. But he's not part of like he's not part of Nashville arm wrestling because he's about 3.5 hours from where I live.
Okay, then soon, as I mentioned with you before, let's get a Team Tennessee showcase going here on the show at some point. We'll get Landon on here too. We got Fruitful Vine Farm, who says it's Tristan Shaw live from Alaska. Says that Landon is a very impressive young man as well. And Veronica
Tristan's one of my good buddies.
What's that?
I said Tristan's one of my good buddies. He's actually ranked. I want to say he's ranked in 76 in Tennessee. He is ranked. I'm looking at the rankings here. He's actually, he's ranked above my brother Paul for 76 in Tennessee. He's 18 as well.
Right on, Tristan. Is Tristan from Tennessee or is
he is? He is. He's in Alaska right now, but he's from like I've been childhood friends with him. We grew up together. Our parents were friends before we were born.
So is he now residing in Alaska or is he just temporarily?
No. He's visiting Alaska for a couple weeks. But he resides. We live 3 miles from each other.
Okay. Well, Tristan, hop on that Tennessee show when we get that going. We'll definitely be in touch. Veronica Knight says, out of everybody on the screen, who would be your next match to try out? Let's start. Well, Jaylen, are you willing to take a match anytime soon with anybody?
Yeah, I'll go against anyone. I don't care.
So you're just all about the training then?
Yeah.
All right, man. And Levi, how about you?
I have a match next month, but in the near future, hopefully me and David get to have a match.
I like it. All right. Okay. I'm all caught up with the chat here. So yeah, I want to dig into you a little bit more, Jaylen, and then I also want to know about that big match coming up, Levi. So Jaylen, tell me about that. So you're definitely 7 years you've been training in this sport, and I think that's an interesting thing because that shows that you don't have to compete to love this sport. It also means to me you don't have to have a massive ego or pride or anything like that. You're getting a lot out of the training and going to these practices and hanging with the community. Can you tell me like why that is? What drives you in this sport?
It's like just seeing the energy that comes with tournaments and seeing the success like my dad has. It makes me want to like be able to. I can compete, but I'm gonna go at my pace. When I'm ready, I'll pull pro. Like, and when I'm ready to feel like I can start and take it to the next level, then I'll start and put more time in and try and get as far as I can.
Absolutely. And you're still very young. Your dad pulls in this sport, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. And what's your dad's name?
Pawloski, the Spartan.
Awesome. Yes, sir. All right. And how long has your dad been in the sport for?
I think since 2014, around there, probably about 2014.
Okay. And who wins in a match today? You or the Spartan?
My dad, he's still up there. Like, if he competes and puts time in, he can be like top 10 in California.
Really? Okay. All right. Yeah. And for when you start to compete, you said pro. Like, is there going to be an amateur in there anywhere?
Yeah, I'm gonna pull amateur probably for like the first, like many I filled, so I can say I can fill a lot of amateurs and see how far I can go in there. And then once I feel like I'm good at that where I'm at, I'll start pulling pro and going against stronger people and stronger and people who know what to do a lot more.
What is it that is going to tell you that you feel ready?
I feel like that moment where I know it's going to be where I'm like, I get placed number 1 in multiple tournaments, and I feel like I need to step it up and go against stronger opponents.
Okay. Do you do practice matches at your practices?
Yeah, I'll pull against like a lot of people there, and I'll just like learn from them, or let's go back and forth, trying to fill each other out, or like we can both work on and just like, talk to each other and figure out like where we need to be at.
Does anybody like give you like ready goes though? Do you ever practice,
yeah,
simulate kind of a match or a competition?
Yeah, but it's like most of the time I'm just training and just like watching, but every once in a while I'll go against someone who's like probably a little bit older than me and do ready goes.
Cool. And I want to ask you briefly that same question, Elijah. Have you had any ready goes in practice yet, since you haven't competed yet?
More like against Callazo, just like for fun.
Okay, so somebody has come to help and stand by the table and lined you up and said ready go?
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, I mean you're really starting to pull safe. And I think at our practices, at any person's practice where they really trust the people they're pulling with, that's the place to feel that out for sure. Because you can trust them to, like, if you're actually going to try and hit, especially you, Elijah, you've got a strong hit, and feeling out ready goes with the wrong person. If you've got a hit like that, it can lead to problems. But this is the places at practice to do that. Definitely just communicate with your training partner and everything like that. Even say if you're going to hit, say, okay, yeah, I'm going to hit on the ready go, whatever. And they'll know how to deal with that situation since you're new. Okay, so Levi, you've got a big match coming up. You are currently not ranked, correct?
Yep.
But you might be pretty soon, right?
Yeah.
All right. And tell us all your home state.
North Carolina.
North Carolina, yes. And Damian referred you. He was used to be an Alpha Empire with us, and just like Jadon, he went and abandoned us and broke our hearts and went to another state. No, we love Damian, and it sounds like he's got a pretty cool club out there. Do you train with Damian primarily?
Occasionally, I train with him, but he's not my primary group.
Okay. You got to tell me, give me the inside scoop. How strong is Damian getting?
He's getting good.
Yeah.
Yeah. In the 175s, 180s, he's probably number one in the state.
Oh boy. Oh boy. And what is his walking around weight right now?
About 180.
Okay. All right. All right, Damian. I believe it. All right. Yeah, I want some of that. And so Levi, the person that you were about to be going up against, he is, what was it, number 10, did you say?
So the number 10 ranking went to a guy named Joe Dollar. He's not pulling anymore. So Sean Moore, who I'm going up against, is the last guy he pulled. So whoever wins gets the number 10 ranking.
Okay. And then you're coming up next.
Yeah.
Okay. I love it. So wait, and you're gonna pull whoever gets that spot, basically?
No,
or
so me and Sean are gonna pull, and whoever wins gets number 10.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. Okay. And what made you pick out that spot? What made you pick him out?
I just want to take the rankings slow. If someone's closer to the top number 5, I don't deserve it until I beat the number 6 guy. I just want to take it slow and everyone one by one on the rankings.
Nice. Very cool. Yeah, that's a good way to look at it. My only wrench to throw in that, because I'm trying to play that game too. I'm not very high on our rankings, but there's guys that keep calling me out to take mine. So finally I'm like, okay, well, who do I gotta call out to do something there? And I fell into the predicament where I'm more worried about the guys that are right below me.
Right.
Sometimes it can be styles, anatomical things. And for me, that's the circumstance where sometimes it might make sense to skip a few people. But yeah, I don't know. That's a hard one for me. Would you say that the people that are ranked that you're going down the list on, would you say they're reasonably laid out? Like there's nobody that would be easier than that number 10 spot?
No.
Okay.
They're all they're where they should be. There's a
No, I mean easier for you though, style wise and everything.
No,
Okay. Okay. All right.
I think according to style, they're pretty much in order for who I should be beating.
Well, that's cool. Right.
Yeah.
On.
Have you pulled with dang, I just forgot the guy's name. The guy that you got a match with?
Yeah, I pulled him one time.
Gotcha.
But it was just in practice. I don't really take anything seriously in practice. So, people sandbag and whatever, take it with a grain of salt.
Oh yeah, totally. Practice is, a lot of people will, be like, oh, I got practice pins on you or whatever. Doesn't really count.
Yeah.
Everybody's got pins on me in practice. I get when I do a practice, I pull for 3 hours at a time, and I get so beat I can't drink my water.
Right.
Well, I really want to see this match between Boone and Jadon. I want to see that. We got to make that happen. So a lot of us have seen Jadon pull. I'm curious, on YouTube, is there anything recent of you, Boone?
No, I don't think there is.
No.
Yeah.
Ooh.
No.
That's scary stuff, Jadon. He's a mystery. Nothing to go on.
Those are the ones you gotta watch out for.
Yeah.
I can tell he's got that country strength too, that hay bale throwing strength, arm wrestling strength.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
How about you, Levi? Any matches of recent that you got up there on YouTube or anything?
Yeah, Damien just had an event that I didn't match at. So I pulled a guy named JJ Bailey. He's not ranked. He's been pulling for a long time though. 7, 8 years, I think. Big dude. I lost 3-1, but it was a good learning experience. So.
Okay. Is that something you'd want me to put on right now? Or is there another match you'd rather me put on?
I don't know where to find it on YouTube actually, unless Damien put the video up.
Okay. All right. Yeah, and I did look up a little bit of that event. He had a really cool tag team going on down there. He had my boy ET out there, the Whisperer. Yeah, good stuff. Well, Josh, is there anything you want to add? Any questions? Anybody in the chat? Anything we want to talk about before we close things up?
Derek,
we have the Caribbean Bull Goyo in the house. Just want to say hi.
What up? What up?
No, everything's good. I just it was a pleasure getting to meet all these guys and hear a little bit about about themselves. I can't wait to get you guys on again with Kane and I, and thank you all for helping us out to do this because as we all agree, focusing on you guys is a big deal. So thank you for helping us to do that, and we definitely want to do it again and again. And yeah, jump on those call out shows and tell everybody to jump on. Let's get as big as possible. Let's make this thing a trend.
Absolutely. You guys are always welcome. Yeah, please do come on any Thursday. I believe that's when we're doing this thing. And I do want us to do more showcase shows on our Tuesday show on just the young guys. So we'll try to make that happen as much as we can. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming on. Levi, David, Paul, Todd and Elijah, Jaylen, Boone, and Mr. Jadon Knight Jr. And as always, thank you as well, Josh. Everybody in the chat, thank you for joining us. And anybody watching, like, subscribe, share. Let's blast these guys. All right. And let's get those arms up. Yeah. All right. We'll see you next time, guys.